What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael. This one's over here has been losing his mind all day, fiending over here, because we got this new trailer.
AHSOKA is back!
I mean, she's been back, right? We knew she was, we heard her voice in whatever that movie was. I forgot the name of it.
That don't count.
What's the name of that movie? Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Ben Solo?
I mean, whatever. Yeah, so she's back. Great. Should I care? Why do I care? Why should I care, Leroy?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Tell me why I should care about her.
I mean,
I'm the audience. Tell me why I should care about her.
the audience already knows. That's why they're watching this.
But we get new people too. So why should we care?
Even the new people know.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
They don't.
They do.
They don't.
I beg to.
I bet you right
Audience.
now, Andrea don't know who AHSOKA is.
She don't count. This is Star Wars, sir. This is
said
AHSOKA.
new people.
She's not new. She's been here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying new people to Star Wars. So tell me about AHSOKA. Why should I care?
She is Anakin Skywalker's Padawan.
What does that mean?
What I just said. Do you not know the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I'm just asking, man.
Look, man, don't see. You're trying to troll me.
I'm not trying to troll you. I'm seriously asking.
Hey, guys, this is what Michael does. He tries to steal our joy, but he's not gonna steal our joy. The Clone Wars are back. We're back. Back again.
So give me the background of Clone Wars. We had a movie. We had an animated movie.
Yeah, those movies don't count. Oh, hold on.
Well, no, the first one was bad, but the
hold on. You talk about the movie or the guy who did Samurai Jack?
Because there was two movies, right?
So
there was a Samurai Jack style animation movie that was cool.
Yep.
There was also like a 3D model movie that wasn't cool.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Give me the background. There we go. I just want you to talk, man.
I will stab you. I just want to watch the video.
Okay.
So we did get that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, I'm not going to say it wasn't good. It was the problem with anything that begins is a little rocky at first. You got to find your footing. That falls in between the Clone Wars and Rise of Skywalker. No. Revenge of the Sith? Yeah, Revenge of the Sith. Episode 3. Mm-hmm. So this is that time between where the Republic fights against the droid army, Roger, and what?
That's what they say.
Misa love Clone Wars.
Oh, no.
And we meet Ahsoka, Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, who he is not given the title of Master yet. He's still a regular Jedi. You still have Obi-Wan, and they are with their clone troopers fighting against the Rogers. Mm-hmm. And we get
the Separatists, right?
I mean,
wasn't the Separatist army?
It's tariffs in space, man.
Tariffs in space tariffs. Yeah.
Space politics.
Yeah.
So this fills in the gap of kind of what the movies left out. Makes you kind of care for Anakin Skywalker. You see him dipping his toe in the deep end of the dark side. You can see him getting angrier, losing his patience, doing things that are not necessarily according to the Jedi code. The ends justify the means. Mm-hmm. I love the Clone Wars. When it was on Cartoon Network, I believe it was one of the when it premiered on Cartoon Network, it was one of the highest rated premieres of all time. It won 2 daytime Emmys. One of the daytime Emmys that they won, Carrie Fisher actually gave out the award. So this show, I own all of the Ahsoka Pops. I haven't watched Rebels. I know she's in Rebels. She's grown up. But this shows the beginning of this character. You see her mature, grow into, going from being a Padawan to where she had left the Jedi Order, based on her interactions where she was falsely accused, and hunted down by the Jedi Order. She was like, I'm done, I'm out. And she left. So that last Clone Wars final trailer that we saw, I believe it was 2018 San Diego Comic-Con, you saw her come back when you saw the Clone Wars, and you saw Anakin, you saw him and Obi-Wan, and then you see the clone troopers, and then they walk up to a holodisc, and then you see Ahsoka say, "Hello, Master." Everybody was freaking out because that story hadn't been told. Dave Filoni So this is how the original series was done. The first 5 seasons was aired on Cartoon Network. There was a 6th season that aired on Netflix. Then it was over. It was done.
Mm-hmm.
Then it moved to Disney Plus. When they announced Disney Plus, they announced there would be a 7th and final season of the Clone Wars. We're now going to get a 12-episode final season that wraps up this entire series, hopefully to fans and Dave Filoni's satisfaction.
I just want you to talk so I keep you longer from watching the trailer. Mission accomplished. You ready?
It's the most hateful thing you've ever done.
Dark side is real. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate you.
Soon, the galaxy will be remade. The Jedi and the Republic will die.
I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Great care we must take.
Why would anyone walk away from being a Jedi? We were trained to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
We clones have mixed feelings about the war. Without it, we wouldn't exist.
All part of the plan. The plan. Everything is about to change. Every choice made has led to this.
February 21st.
I'm sorry, guys.
Explain it to me. What you going through? Because I like Clone Wars, but it means something else to you. So what does that mean to you?
So when it first came out, I have the movie. I have the steelbook of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have downloads. You know, like you love something, you get everything about it.
Sure.
So when it first came out, I didn't like it. I'll admit that movie was a tough swallow. Going back now, I can watch it with nostalgia and be like, okay, they were learning. When it started out, it seemed to be a kid's show. It really did. It didn't find its footing. But if you stuck with it past that first season, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but a friend of mine was like, it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Get through that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And I got through that first season. I came around, I think it was like, you remember when Cartoon Network and Adult Swim would do these like marathons?
Yeah.
And I remember one day I just binged a bunch of it. I just sat home, and I was literally like, holy, one, this is a kid's show.
Mm-hmm.
2, this is amazing. A lot of times the original trilogy gets knocked for not building up or explaining who Darth Vader is. He's just the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. Lucas is like, okay, I'm going to do the prequels, and I'm going to tell you how this little boy becomes this monster.
Mm-hmm.
Mission failed. It did not. The Clone Wars answers that. The Clone Wars actually makes the prequels better, because without the Clone Wars, you don't get to see Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen. And to me, I know a lot of people are upset about this latest trilogy. I fault George Lucas because George Lucas did not do a good job and did not give Hayden Christensen enough to work with this character. Given
Wait. Which trilogy are we talking about?
The prequels. I know a lot of people like the last trilogy. What about this? What about that? When you're talking about the prequels, George Lucas, in my opinion, did not give Hayden Christensen enough. Whether it was screenwriting, direction, I don't know. Did not give him enough to exemplify how this sweet little boy, Anakin, turned out to be this monster who massacred an entire order that he supposedly loved.
Okay.
In the Clone Wars, you see that. You see the chances and the risk he took. And you love him. And then you see the descent. You start to see how this person can move down. You see people like introduction of Grand Moff Tarkin, who isn't Grand Moff yet. You get to see how all of these characters that you were introduced to in the prequels are actually well thought out, fleshed out characters that you never got to see in the movies. And the introduction of a young woman in Ahsoka was so amazing. I remember when I was watching this show, and I watched it and I've watched it several times, but there's certain episodes that really mean something to me, and there's certain episodes that I'm like, oh, cool. I remember when I first started dating my wife, who at the time was a middle school teacher, and I literally was like, we had conversations about what is appropriate for children, because there were themes within this show. You wonder, is this meant for kids?
Okay.
And that was it's one of those shows where you're just like, that's deep. That sixth season, Yoda goes and discovers Dagobah. That's where he finds that cave that we saw in the original trilogy. That was dark. There are episodes of terrorism. How far do you go to achieve your mission? There are people who die in this series. Obi-Wan Kenobi's given a love interest. You're introduced to Mandalore, and there you get to see the introduction of the Dark Saber. There's a lot that comes in this 6 seasons of Star Wars that is hard to do in a 3-movie trilogy. And Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars, the movie, are redeemed a little bit with this series. And that's why people love it so much. That's why people are so, when you mention Clone Wars to people who have watched it, are like, and I hate saying this, but some people, you'll hear that's my Star Wars. Because for them, they finally got to see what we have seen on screen, on a big screen, told a better way. And that's why I think Clone Wars means so much. Like for me, seeing these characters, you get to see Rex. Like, they're clones, but they have the sense and the presence of mind to understand where our job is to die in service of the Republic.
Right.
But are we not individuals? And you have that you see that conversation, and you're introducing this to children, the idea of individuality, but also the idea of service to a greater cause. And where do you go with that? And I really, and that's why I said I remember asking Katie, when do you introduce death to a child? Because there are characters you see and you like, and you're like, oh, that she's not getting back up. And it really reminded me, and it's sad. Remember in Return of the Jedi, when the Ewoks died, and and you're like,
nah.
or Simba,
yeah.
But you see that in this, and that's why I was like, wow, this deep. You got to see Forrest Whitaker's character Saw in this. You were introduced to this. Saw's a bad dude. Like, I'm talking, he has no, like, you thought you saw Saw, like, a lot of people are introduced to Saw Gerrera in Rogue One. You got introduced to Saw in Clone Wars, and that dude, he did not give a F.
Yeah, he's in justifies the means type of person.
He's really, and you saw that in Rogue One where they were like, yeah, we not cool with Saul no more. Yeah. And it's like, yeah,
he on something else.
We were like, yeah, we knew that in Clone Wars.
He played too much. Yeah, he take it too far.
Saul does not give.
Yeah.
And so you get introduced to these new characters, I'm trying to remember what the pirate's name, and he is hilarious. He's like this trickster who always Anakin and Obi-Wan always get wrapped up with this space pirate. You get to see young Boba Fett.
Okay.
You get to see Mandalore in all of its glory and how Mandalore works and how there's this internal strife where they used to be a warrior culture and now they want to be peaceful, they want to be loving. And some people are like, man, we want to F up the Jedi because that's what we do. And you see this fight and it's so amazing. Now, Clone Wars has its faults. When it originally aired, it wasn't in order.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you would watch some episodes, you like, wait a minute. Isn't he dead?
Okay.
so there is that. There is, if you go online right now, there is a so you can watch them as they premiere or chronologically.
If you were to watch them Disney Plus, are they in the order?
That's the question that I don't know because I haven't been watching them on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I still got them. This is
Okay.
and I've been watching them that way.
Okay.
I started watching them on Netflix in anticipation for them moving to Disney Plus, and I never finished it. And then other things came up, so I don't know.
Okay.
There are lists out there that let you know, watch this first, watch that. I wish Lauren was here because Lauren is actually watching, and she came to me and she was like, get through the first season. Get through that first season, those first couple of episodes. It really goes.
That's where I am in Clone Wars. I tried to watch it several times, and that first 2 episodes,
it really, and that's the funny
This
thing.
is-
It doesn't lend well, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know if it's a Dave Filoni and Henry. I'm trying to remember his name is, but I don't know if they they hadn't figured everything out yet, or like maybe they wrote scripts for this and they sent it in, and because when you're doing animation, you listen to the guys who do The Simpsons. They write their scripts, send it, and then they get animated, and so they back and forth. But then if you listen to the guys who do South Park, they're like, we did crappy animation as a goof, but then realized it worked for us because they were able to be topical. These are some of the best. If you go back and look at those Clone War episodes, the animation still holds up. Like it still looks good, even though some of the dialogue is a little wonky. It is a hard introduction to get into if you don't realize. Like, I was talking to our chief engineer, Andy, and Andy was like, I gave up after 6 episodes. And I was like, I implored him to go back, and I want to go back and ask him because he said he was going to give it another try. I tell people, if you want to learn more about Star Wars, if you want to learn more about Anakin, Padme, Jar Jar Binks is redeemed to a certain extent. You get to see the Night Sisters that you were introduced to in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. They had some crappy names. Savage Opress.
Sure. Whatever.
You get some, but you really get to see the inside of some of these characters you did not get in the original prequels. Okay. And that's why I say to a lot of people who are complaining about, they killed Star Wars with this last trilogy. I can understand a little bit of that because the prequels were redeemed by the Clone Wars. Okay. That's how good, in my opinion. Okay. And some other people may disagree, but that's how I feel about the Clone Wars. Okay. Ahsoka is my top 3 favorite characters in Star Wars.
On that recommendation, I will give it another shot. I got until February 21st to watch 6 seasons. That's doable. That is doable. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could be doable. So I'll try.
What I want to know is, so you saw Ahsoka teaming up with, or at least shaking hands with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I have not watched Rebels.
Because that's Sabine, right?
I believe that's Sabine. Yeah. I'm not sure. Quite sure the chat.
Y'all let us know.
Trust me, they'll let us know.
Yeah.
But Ahsoka comes back in Rebels. Obi-Wan comes back in Rebels. Horn dude, Darth Maul comes back in Rebels.
Right.
And so with Rebels being canon, Clone Wars being canon, and you know some of these outcomes and some of these characters, I'd like to know how they are building this final 7th season and where it falls in line with those properties, but also where it falls in line with Order 66, because this show happened before Order 66, and in other words, does this lead right up to Revenge of the Sith, like Gene what's his name? What's the last name? Tarkady? The guy did Samurai Jack.
Gendy Tar, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So basically,
Gendy, who, yeah.
So basically, his cartoon led directly up to Revenge of the Sith. You saw the kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine. So and a lot of people are asking, is that canon? Is it not? So I'd like to know where all of this fits.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see this show, when I see this trailer, I'm blown away because one, it looks amazing.
It does look really good.
It looks amazing,
Yeah.
and I hate seeing that we saw it on this little ass.
I mean, I'm sure you're about to go back upstairs and watch it several times on another. You're not about to do that.
Okay.
I don't think you are.
Okay.
I'm not saying you can't. I just don't think you're gonna go do that. Okay.
All I gotta do, you see that XL that cable?
Okay, Leroy's gonna be some home improvement stuff over here and hook up this big computer to the TV to the whatever.
That's my take on.
Okay. So I've tried to watch Clone Wars a couple times. It couldn't work. I'm going to try it again, and maybe I'll be able to get through it because I've heard good things from a lot of people. Let me know if you guys have seen Clone Wars. If you were like me, if you couldn't get through it, what stops you? Has Leroy given you? As he cheers over here with this AHSOKA pop, has his enthusiasm spread to you guys? Because it's kind of spread to me. Like, comment, subscribe here. You can also find us, of course, here on YouTube, but also on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and WOTX.com. And we're out.
Peace.